Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are grappling with a concept that I think is just crushing the spirit of security professionals everywhere. It's this idea of noisy security.
Hmm.
If you're a leader in a cloud environment, you know this pain point. You know it intimately. I mean, think of it this way. The traditional advice, especially in the early days of the cloud, was just stack more tools.
Right, just buy the next solution.
Exactly. If you feel unsafe, you buy the next security solution, bolt it on. But when you have like 50 different cheap locks, you haven't really improved security.
No, you've just created crippling
Built
complexity.
of alert fatigue. It's like having a giant key ring that no one can manage.
That's absolutely right. The analysis we looked at, it really highlights that this complexity, it translates directly to severe operational risk.
So it's not just an annoyance.
Not at all. The core pain point for cloud leaders today isn't a lack of tools, it's a profound lack of visibility, of clarity.
They're fighting blind.
Completely blind, chasing shadow alerts while the real fire is burning silently in the corner. Often in critical system settings, like in M365.
Okay.
And we're here today to explore exactly how AI is, well, how it's ending this era of noise and bringing focus to the systems that actually matter.
So our mission today is to understand how AI delivers that clarity and maybe even some calm, moving you past that overwhelming alert fatigue and chronic misconfiguration.
We're aiming for better outcomes, reduced risk, and visibility where it truly counts.
Okay, let's unpack this. So if adding more tools is just adding more noise, we have to focus on where breaches actually start.
Mhm.
And the data we reviewed makes this powerful, almost unsettling claim. Critical security gaps are routinely hidden in plain sight.
That's it.
They're not some exotic zero-day vulnerability. They're flaws we introduced ourselves.
They absolutely are. And this noise is highly deceptive, which is why security teams feel like they're, just running on a treadmill.
Constantly busy but not getting anywhere.
Exactly. It's not just about filtering alerts. It's about the deeper structural problems that make the real issues impossible to spot. The analysis we saw identified 3 key structural issues.
Okay, what are they?
Well, these are the things that consistently lead to those hidden gaps, and they pose a really severe risk.
Let's start with the first one. You call it the buried misconfiguration.
Right. So the first issue is misconfigurations buried in noise. Security issues are getting lost in a literal flood of alerts, but, and here's the crucial part,
Huh.
they are also getting lost in the noise from alerts that haven't even been triggered.
What do you mean by that?
The sheer volume of things that could be wrong is so high that the human brain just stops prioritizing. You miss the true signal because you're so distracted by all the background chatter.
Which means the actual critical vulnerability, the one that's going to sink you, it just looks identical to some harmless config change in a test environment.
It slips right through the cracks.
So what's the second issue?
That's the blind trust in secure by default assumptions. This is so common, especially with major SaaS platforms.
You mean you just turn it on and assume it's safe?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Organizations deploy a service and they just assume the default security settings, the out-of-the-box configuration, are robust enough. But they rarely are. Not against today's targeted threats.
It's like buying a bank vault door and just assuming the manufacturer set the best possible combination code for you.
Perfect analogy. That assumption of security is a massive, self-introduced vulnerability. And the third point, it relates directly to, well, every modern environment, because they're all constantly in flux. The third critical issue is silent changes in critical M365 settings. M365 is such a prime example because things are changing constantly and quietly.
By people who aren't even on the security team.
That's the key. Well-meaning ops staff making routine tweaks. But these shifts, things like global admin rights getting broadened or external sharing policies suddenly becoming permissive, they happen without visibility.
That's configuration drift.
It is. And because there's no constant, clear monitoring, systems are exposed just because no one noticed a critical flag was reset.
So if you put those 3 things together, the paralyzing noise, the misplaced trust, and that silent config drift, it all seems to reinforce this central finding, that every major breach, according to this analysis, has the same root cause.
It does. It's a fundamental lack of visibility into what's already configured, running, or changing in your own environment. What's fascinating here is that the solution isn't just another log analyzer or another firewall.
Right, not another tool.
Not another tool. AI directly targets that core lack of clarity and visibility. It shifts the entire paradigm from being purely reactive to,
Well, to precision-guided security.
But how does it actually achieve that clarity? Because I think the anxiety among security teams is, are we just introducing a new black box that's going to create a new, even more advanced kind of overload?
That's a very valid fear.
We need to get away from noise, not create smarter noise.
Hmm.
Well, AI's function here is really synthesis and prediction, not just processing speed. It integrates these sophisticated models to continuously monitor and actually learn from the environment. And that continuous learning is crucial. It ensures the security measures evolve as the threats change. It's not stagnant.
Okay.
And in practical terms, this gives you three massive benefits that cut right through the noise. First, it automatically detects those misconfigurations that were previously completely hidden, buried in the static.
So the things that slipped through the cracks before because they weren't screaming emergency.
Exactly. Second, it uses real-time data and patterns to actually prioritize security risks. It doesn't just tell you what is wrong, it tells you how much you should worry about it right now.
Based on context, potential blast radius, that sort of thing.
Right.
That real-time prioritization has to be huge for a CISO. Instead of telling your team to chase 1,000 alerts from 10 different tools, you get a focused list. The 5 configuration flaws that actually pose an immediate exploitable threat.
It completely refines that signal-to-noise ratio.
You know, to put this in an analogy, traditional security is like a room full of smoke detectors that all go off when you burn toast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But AI is more like a sophisticated sensor that can tell the difference between toast smoke, an electrical fire, and steam, and then it only shines a focused spotlight on the actual fire.
It's a spotlight, not another alarm bell.
Exactly. Here's where it gets really interesting. It's easy to talk about AI in the abstract, but the analysis we looked at outlines 6 specific, actionable strategies for using it.
Right. These are the practical nuggets you can actually take away and apply. A blueprint for putting AI to work.
Okay, let's get into them. The first 4 seem to focus heavily on configuration management.
They do, because that's the backbone. It's where most breaches originate.
Number 1 is, trust the signal, not the noise. What does that actually look like day to day?
It means the AI is highlighting precisely what has actually changed in real time.
In critical systems like M365.
Exactly. M365, access controls, storage policies, you name it. This makes sure you're focusing resources only on genuine new threats or unauthorized modifications. It filters out all that operational chatter.
And the second one, it sounds like it makes configuration review feasible again, which, for big environments, is a nightmare.
It's become a completely manual, often just neglected task.
Right.
So number 2, review configurations weekly. Stops being a goal and becomes an automated reality. The AI does the heavy lifting, detecting configurations you didn't even know existed or that were changed by that drift we talked about.
Number 3, AI handles baseline enforcement. This seems to address the human error problem.
It's critical. Automate your baseline. Once the team agrees on a standard like MFA must be enabled for all admin accounts, the AI ensures those settings are consistently enforced.
Always.
Always. It removes the human error. It
Sure.
stops that one developer who always forgets to check the MFA box from compromising the whole system.
And this leads right to number 4, which tackles that blind trust in defaults.
Right. Stop relying on defaults. AI steps in precisely where defaults fail. Instead of a generic starting point, the AI continuously maps your environment against industry best practices and adapts. It's an enforced, customized security standard.
Okay, so we've covered the configuration backbone. But AI isn't just about settings, right? It also acts as a strategic analyst for the human team.
It does. Let's look at number 5. Use AI as your second brain. This is such a crucial function because it tackles the time-to-insight problem. The AI summarizes and interprets this incredibly complex stream of security data.
Something that would take a human analyst weeks.
Weeks of painstaking effort, yeah. And critically, it predicts potential vulnerabilities. It connects seemingly unrelated events and offers actionable, prioritized recommendations.
So it's the difference between getting raw security logs dropped on your desk versus having a strategic vulnerability assessment delivered instantly.
Right, telling you exactly where to put your limited human resources. It gives you really predictive superpowers.
And what's number 6?
Number 6 is build migration momentum. This is all about the scaling challenge. As environments grow and you adopt more complex services, like migrating to advanced M365 features, security compromises can slip in.
Because the team is focused on speed, on just getting it done.
Exactly. AI helps ensure those transitions are smooth without leaving systems exposed or creating new blind spots. It makes sure security keeps pace with growth instead of lagging behind. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Implementing these 6 strategies, it radically shifts security from that reactive firefighting
The constant struggle.
to proactive prevention. We move away from just responding to incidents and toward anticipating and neutralizing them before they even become an issue.
So what does that mean for the ultimate future state? It sounds like we're heading toward a truly self-improving security ecosystem. Is that really achievable for most teams?
I think it's highly achievable because the technology relies on analyzing massive amounts of data, which the cloud already provides. And the source we looked at highlights several proactive capabilities that define this future. For example, we gain proactive protection, actually predicting and preventing potential breaches before they even materialize.
Wow.
And this relies on predictive intelligence, where the AI uses all this data to forecast where new vulnerabilities might emerge, not just detecting known exploits.
So that's next level. Instead of patching a weakness after it's been exploited, you're anticipating the weakness itself.
And closing the door preemptively. Exactly. We also gain continuous assurance, which means ongoing monitoring for compliance 247, not just during scheduled audits. And one of the most vital outcomes is instant drift detection. The ability to instantly detect any deviation from your established baseline in real time.
So if a critical setting changes when it shouldn't.
The system knows immediately. It often rectifies it automatically or alerts just the one person needed to verify it.
So the system is not just self-improving, evolving based on past threats, but it's constantly holding the line against unauthorized changes.
And this leads to the ultimate, most coveted outcome for the security teams themselves. Operational calm.
That sounds nice.
I mean, think about the difference in your professional life. With these systems handling continuous monitoring and enforcement, teams are no longer bogged down with false alarms and 3 a.m. calls.
They can focus on strategy.
They can pivot entirely to strategic tasks, advanced threat hunting, future planning. It fundamentally shifts the job description from firefighter to architect.
So what does this all mean? The central argument we've unpacked today is that cloud leaders are, well, they're drowning in security noise, and just buying more tools makes it worse.
It does. The core issue is that lack of visibility and the problem of configuration drift. And AI is the essential key to moving past that era of noisy security.
Right.
It offers the clarity, the visibility, and the proactive measures you need.
By automating the critical tasks.
Exactly. By automating those tasks, it dramatically reduces risk and ensures your security practices are always ahead of the threats. It turns that paralyzing complexity into operational certainty.
And the practical reality is that AI handles the relentless, repetitive work, which, and this is important, brings us back to the human element. The whole discussion has been about AI ensuring security practices are ahead of threats. This raises a really important question for you, the listener, to consider. If AI successfully handles all this continuous monitoring and baseline enforcement,
Right.
what specific non-automated strategic security tasks, the ones requiring genuine human insight, creativity, ethical judgment, what will become the highest priority for human expertise in the next 5 years? What new skills will define the next generation of security leadership? Something powerful for you to mull over as you build your own strategies.